Hey, it's Midwest Maverick, Week 7. What's going down, YouTube Nation, football fans? Hey, it's Thursday, October 11th, 2018, Week 7, college football season. We're already one game in with Appalachian State's convincing win Tuesday night. Meant to get this video out last night. Didn't work out, updated some lines, did some more research, wasn't feel comfortable putting this out yet with the information I had. So I'm dialed in this week. Coming off a pretty rough week last week. But hey, it's bounce back week. Like a lot of these picks. If you like my stuff, you've been watching the last few weeks. It's a new channel, Midwest Maverick Sports. I do this, make some money on the side. I don't do this for a living. So, a lot of times you're not going to see entirely nuking in-depth analysis of certain things. I'm a football fan. I've made a significant amount of money on betting both college and NFL the last few years. So, hey, take it for what it's worth. And, the idea is, I keep putting this out every video, is, you take what you know, coupled with what I'm providing. If you use it for a double check, if you don't put any effort into digging into these matchups and the stats and all that, then you just want to pick straight up, go ahead. That's my ultimate goal is utilizing my college model and other things to give you picks to where if you were to bet on every game, you're going to come out with a nice little profit every week. It's not always going to be the case, but if you win more often than not, then, percentages, that's what happens. Put some cash in your pocket, take a day off. Like I said, this is Week 7, Midwest Maverick Sports here. I'm over my cold, so I'm fired up. I'm ready to get these picks out, lock these bets in, and I'm feeling really confident. So, with that being said, I'm going to move forward, and we'll run through my college model and talk about these picks. Here's the schedule real quick. Week 7. There's some pretty significant top 25 matchups in here. Obviously, Wisconsin and Michigan is the big highlighted one. LSU, Georgia, Washington, Oregon. Those are all going to be, marquee matchups to pay attention to. And we'll talk about those games here in a bit. Tonight you have Georgia Southern, Texas State, Texas Tech, TCU. We'll talk about those. Liking those couple of picks tonight. So moving down through here, you can see, like I said, this is straight from ESPN. So, if you can't read this very well, or, if you want to go check it out there. Missouri, Bama. So, hey, if you're going, it's already Thursday this week, so you should already have these pretty much figured out of what the matchups are. So, let's push. All right. So, you know what I'm talking about already if you've watched my videos. If not, here you go. So, these are my best bets based on what the model is telling us. Okay. If you look over here, here's percentages, winning percentages for the last 3 weeks. 65, 58, 59. All right. So this is what the model's telling me based on the numbers, okay, and several key factors that I've created. So what's inputted here, these are all the teams listed in my model are the teams that are favorite on the college football power index percentage. All right, in this column here. And the ones in yellow are favorite on the power index, but dogs on the line. All right, I don't have these in order of, or listed who's favorite on Vegas on the Vegas line or the spread. Okay, so just want to make that clear. Ideally, you intend to side with, or I intend to side with the team that's favorite, right? You automatically look at the team that's favorite, all right, because they're going to win, or percentages have them winning. And then you look at, okay, to bet it, are they going to cover? And if you're not confident, that's when you go to the dogs, or you might just have a straight up, hey, I think this line is terrible, and this team's going to win outright. That's a whole nother case. But ultimately, what this model and what I'm picking on is, hey, this team is favored to win, especially college football. It's more predictable than, as far as winning, teams winning, more predictable than NFL any given Sunday, right? So I'm taking these favorites, looking at the line, and the model is predicting if they're going to cover or not, cover the spread. So you have the line here, of course. All right, so it's opposite for calculation purposes in the algorithm. So negatives are actually positive; they're getting points, and the positive numbers here, they're giving those points. And this is updated as of last night. All right, so the highest team up, it's in order top to bottom of best to least on the actual best picks, and you see the confidence points over here. All right, so with these best bets, and these are just the difference between the this colored column over here is the total difference between the power index percentage and the line. So you can see up here, Northwestern is the best pick this week. They're playing Nebraska. That's no shocker. I've seen a lot of several folks saying, hey, Nebraska could pull this out with their first win at Northwestern. They very well could. I mean, all these games, right? Nothing is certain. So, but the model is liking this, liking the numbers, liking Northwestern with a lot of confidence points, same as Marshall, and going on down here, these teams here. So now what I do is I look at this and I say, hey, all right, I understand what makes sense and what doesn't, and what the model's not 100%. All right, this is just a tool I use to make picks. I'll avoid some of these, especially ones that are closer down here to the bottom. All right, not that many confidence points. So I look at this and I'll disagree with it. For instance, right now I can tell you I disagree with the model saying take USC to cover the 7 home versus Colorado. I disagree with Michigan in that line, now 8.5 was 7 home versus Wisconsin. Okay, because I just think those lines aren't correct. I don't think they should be that big of a spread. Okay, so not to say those teams won't win, I just disagree with them covering it. So while I'm talking about those real quick, so USC, they're home versus undefeated Colorado, who has a good defense. USC hasn't shown much this year. With that total being, the spread being 7, I'm just not confident. Yeah, they're 74% on the power index and at home. I think Colorado can go down there and take care of business. I think they're a good team, all around. So, and I actually, if I'm taking points, I like to think that they're going to cover out or going to win outright when the line is less than 10. And I think Colorado can pull this one outright. So I'm taking the 7 points all day, and you should as well. But if you have something on USC that I don't, hey, share it. We're not all knowing, can't hit everything. So if there's some news out there on USC or news on Colorado, share it or don't pick it. Right here, these have been pretty. Like I said, if you pay attention to my videos, the yellow here, these dogs on the line and favorite on the power index, you got to pay close attention to those. They win more often than not. 75% of the time, they usually, and a lot of times they win outright. So those are free points. Okay, I wouldn't necessarily lock those in. To cover or win outright. If you don't like it and you're saying no, I disagree, then just stay away, because that's a dangerous position to be in if you're going to take the teams against these teams. All right, I don't think South Carolina should be dogs at home versus A&M. I'm taking that all day. I don't like that it's 2.5. I like it if it's 3, but I think they're going to win outright at home. Texas can't try, or Texas A&M can't travel. Duke, I know they have some injuries, but I'm looking at this, looking at the matchup. Georgia Tech is overrated this week. They shouldn't be. This should be a pick'em. I know they're giving 3 or favorite by 3 because they're a home team, but they shouldn't be. I don't think they're going to win this game. Duke has a 1 loss versus stout Virginia Tech defense. Duke, so look at similar teams in their offense. So Duke smashed Army the first week. They shut down that triple option, that run game. Georgia Tech runs the same shit. Duke doesn't have a defense like Louisville's not even Swiss cheese defense. It's like if you cut out all the cheese on the slice, all right, in the middle, and you just left a little border, which is the sidelines of the field, that is Louisville's defense, okay? Georgia Tech is not going to have that success, all right? So I would take Duke in the points all day. Let's go back up here real quick. So, not disagreeing with any of these really. Florida, pay attention to this. Florida's that's a look-ahead game. I think they have Georgia next week, so pay close attention to that. This could be a look-ahead game for them. The model likes them to cover the spread, but just be careful with their. And I think they're at Vandy, so in Vandy could be an upset special. I think they have enough talent to beat. To upset a team. So be careful there. Not saying take Vandy. I'll just be careful taking Florida. Iowa, I think this line should be higher. Iowa's got, they're traveling well. They had a convincing win at Minnesota. They're going to Indiana. Yeah, Indiana covered versus Ohio State, but, that Ohio State defense has been giving up points. They gave up 31 to Oregon State, all right? Iowa's defense is not Ohio State's. I don't know, if you watch they were my lock pick last week. I didn't even understand that line going at Minnesota only being 7. Far better team, far better squad, a Big Ten powerhouse. So I would take Iowa all day with confidence, covering that 5.5. That's a double-digit win all day. Indiana's not good. Oklahoma State's been struggling. I'd be careful there. As well with that touchdown spread. Miami, that's another team. They're winning, but they're not covering. They struggled to come back and they won Florida State, but that's another team you got to be careful with picking that team, especially on the road. Virginia is no slouch. They're not a great team, but they'll hang in there and they can beat teams with that defense and that run game. So I would just be careful with Miami. And if I was to pick that game, I would probably buy it up and take 7 with Virginia, but the model here is liking Miami to cover the 7, and I'm not going to disagree with that. All right, I'm not going to disagree with the model at 6.5, but I'm not going to bet. I don't think I'm going to bet this game because Miami is just too shaky. We're talking about USC. Just going down here. Georgia LSU. I'm probably going to stay away from this game, but hey, it's Georgia, right? LSU just lost to Florida on the road. So, Georgia's probably the team right now that is favored to beat Bama and in the playoff, or could have the chance of winning this year. But the model's liking them over LSU, a little over a touchdown there. Not going to disagree with that as well. But like I said, LSU could win at home. So BYU here, they're favored just based on the competition they're playing. I forgot off the top of my head exactly who they have at home. I think it's a slouch team, but be careful with them. They're not as good as they were cracked up to be. Yeah, they got that win at Wisconsin, but ever since then they fell off. Penn State, Michigan State. I like this. I like this 13.5. Penn State coming off that tough loss at home versus Ohio State. I think that they're going to bounce back at home, and I think they're going to stomp the Spartans. Spartans are not good. They just lost again at home versus Northwestern. No offense. They're just not. They're done. All right, Penn State obviously has a lot more to play for. Conference matchup, or so in Happy Valley. So I would, I definitely agree with the model, and I would take Penn State all day. BC. So once again, going back to talking about Louisville, and it big slice of cheese with a hole in it, right? So Louisville just got demolished on the. They couldn't even stop. They couldn't stop me. All right, in high heels on ice, let alone, Boston College at home. They're a running team. If Dylan's healthy, especially. I mean, I don't care who's at running back really for about. I mean, if Dylan's healthy and starting, even better. Louisville's not going on the road and stopping Boston College, who has been a tough team. Yeah, they lost at Purdue, but they played a tough game versus a tough NC State last week, and this is a blowout game waiting to happen. I hear, I'm seeing that Louisville's going to bounce back and play better. No, I'm calling bullshit, and they're going to get stomped. So Michigan's hosting Wisconsin, all right, in this line. Look, I'm in Detroit. I work with a lot of Michigan fans, have a lot of Michigan fans I associate with, my friends. I'm asking them, hey, why is Michigan a touchdown favorite? And they're like, pretty much it boils down to their defense. And then I pose the question of, okay, fair enough. What offenses have they played? I mean, you look at it. It doesn't make any sense, all right? Western Michigan, or excluding Notre Dame the first week, which, Wimbush had a pretty good game, and Michigan ended up coming back in that game. But anyways, outside of Notre Dame, you have Western Michigan, Nebraska, Northwestern, Maryland. Now, how can you sit here and justify that Michigan defense when Wisconsin's coming to town and they beat the best defense in the country in their own house in a primetime game when everybody knows that that's the worst situation to be in at Iowa? Now, you tell me. So Wisconsin getting 7 in this, I think that's a lock. That's money all day. This is going to be a close game, low scoring game. I don't think either offense is going to have much success, but Michigan should not be laying a touchdown in this matchup at all. In the top 20, both top 20 matchup. I disagree with that. Michigan's overrated. It's Harbaugh in another big game. So if you take Michigan in that, then good luck. I think you're going to be disappointed on the outcome after Saturday. So once again, disagreeing with the model on that. Once again, this is not 100%, so I try to look at what teams in here could be that the model's not that the model's picking that I disagree with. And Notre Dame, Notre Dame's in a spot outside looking in the top 4. I think they need a big win. They got Pittsburgh coming to their house in South Bend. So, hey, they're favored by 3 touchdowns. I would take this all day because Pittsburgh is a terrible team. I don't even want to get into the Syracuse game last week. Syracuse is another one of those Swiss cheese defenses. But Pittsburgh traveling. Look at their road games, but their losses they've had. They're not going to Notre Dame. They're not even going to be. I don't know how they're going to even score, to be honest. And Notre Dame needs a big win. They're trying to get in, like I said, in the top 4. They need a huge win. Pittsburgh just lost their defensive captain, linebacker for the year. This is just a bad situation for and the weather's getting cooler now, so smash mouth football style. And Notre Dame, I like this all day, and I think that this, if the line wasn't so high, the confidence points would be a lot further up there. But I would consider this to be a lock of the week. All right, we're going to move on to leans for the week. So here's my leans. So once again, leans are, they're getting the confidence points, but it's not the result of the model is not spitting out to make them a best bet. They could very well, some of these, and a lot of them have to do with the difference between the power index and the line here. And these are trends that I've been noticing that I've established the last few weeks. So I don't like him as a best bet, but I like to lean towards picking him. All right. Now now opposite down here, they're below 0. They're negative on the confidence points, but they're up there on the difference between the power index and the spread. So, and also, this isn't just numbers driven either. This is what the model likes, and also what I like or dislike. Okay, I highlighted Texas down here because I just to flag them to be careful. I'll be careful with Texas here coming off. I think this could be a letdown game spread wise. They're not going to lose this game versus Baylor. In-state rivalry. Just be careful with that 14. The model doesn't like it in confidence points, but just looking at both teams, this is a close call. So up here at the top, New Mexico at Colorado State. The confidence points are way up there. New Mexico's been playing good. The Lobos, and it's Colorado State. Look at their games this year. Yeah, they're just coming off a win at San Jose, but and this is pretty much a pick 'em. And whenever you get a pick 'em and they're almost 60% on the FPI, the model and everything, that's money all day. That's what you want to take, okay? Because hey, they're saying there's 60% chance of winning the game outright, and they don't have to cover any points. It's just a pick 'em or one or whatever. So those are good picks. And once again, they're favorite and the dogs on the. But I think that may just this morning I saw that they were pick 'em. So that'll be even a better total. So FIU at home, it's liking them with a small spread. With Washington is at Oregon. I think Washington's a lot better team than Oregon. With Gaskins and Browning and those guys, I think they'll get the job done as well. I would lean towards them. If you're going to bet this game, I'd bet Washington, or even take the money line in this game if you're not confident in the point spread at Oregon. Toledo's at Eastern Michigan. Take a look there. Once again, their favorite on the power index with the small line, almost a pick 'em. That could go either way, that game, but I would lean towards Toledo with that offense. But Eastern Michigan's hung in there in a lot of games. That might actually be a better road team than home team, to be honest. Northern Illinois, Central Michigan. I'm not going to talk about this game. They just, based on the percentages and the line, the models like them. Ole Miss at Arkansas. Careful with that one. Yeah, Ole Miss should win. Better team and should cover that with that offense. But man, their defense is a joke, and they're at Arkansas. And does Arkansas get a win this week? I think they could beat Ole Miss at home, to be honest. So I'm leaning Ole Miss, but I wouldn't be surprised if that would be an upset. Not to say that Arkansas is good, just the situation. So Cal there, Temple, take a look at those. I'm running out of time here, so I'm going to push through these. Army, I'm liking Army in that line at San Jose. I don't think San Jose would be able to stop their run game, and even like the under in that game as well. Appalachian State, actually, they already won. The model lean towards Appalachian State. They already covered this week. The convincing win, so that one's already, you can check that one off. Hopefully you took Appalachian State. Definitely wasn't getting this out, Tuesday. I don't like to get them out that early. I like to do some research and see what everybody's talking about, get the facts down, injuries and stuff. The guys that spit out these videos Monday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, it just, they're just numbers driven, and they just throw their, shit in the model and spit it out, and here you go. And I'm not a real big fan of that. Some of it's a lot valuable, but so Houston here, Georgia Southern. I like the is that tonight? I'm not sure. Is it tonight, tomorrow night? I think it's tonight. Yeah, I like that. Texas State is absolutely horrible and it's a short week, and they won't be able. In that run game in Georgia South, I think they're going to smash. I think that win's going to be in the 20s tonight. Like I said, Texas, be careful with that. I mentioned earlier. Auburn hosting at home versus Tennessee. Yeah, I think everybody's going to jump on Auburn real quick because of those losses they're coming off of. But I saw some stats with Auburn coming off those losses and then being double-digit favorites at home or whatever the hell the case may be. But it's not a very good situation for the teams like Auburn in this case. Auburn should smash at home, should smash a horrible Tennessee ball team, but to cover, it's the model's not liking it very much as far as confidence. But if you're going to bet it, I'd lean Auburn. Definitely don't take Tennessee with getting points unless you're going to tease it. Another game I like Army is teasing Army down to a touchdown. There's a lot of games in there, and you'll see I got a teaser card here in a minute. If you're not familiar with that, I can go more in depth on another video on how to place a parlay football teaser card. It would be in Boise. So is the rest of the leans. All right, so here's a stay away, or you could pick versus these teams. Same situation here. Going through these teams, and a lot of these are making sense to me. The model's not liking them at all this week as a favorite, and the points they're giving. So West Virginia, I actually like Iowa State in that position. I'm gonna bet Iowa State is gonna win outright, but I'm gonna take the free points at Iowa State at home. West Virginia didn't look so good last week. Greer versus a piss poor Kansas team at home. And Iowa State's tough, and they're even tougher at home. So, playing good defense. Ohio State, you're getting up there with that defense. You're getting up there when he's almost pushing 30 in the spread. I would stay away, and if you absolutely want to bet it, I would take the points. Like I said, they gave up 31 points this year to Oregon State. Indiana covered. So just be careful. Could Ohio State win by 40? Absolutely, but USF here. So I highlighted this because I was going to disagree with it based on the matchup at Tulsa, because Tulsa's been playing teams tough, but they got some injuries, and I actually like. Oh yeah, that's why I highlighted, because I actually like them to cover the spread at Tulsa with that offense, and they're going to put up a lot of points. Could take the over as well. I think Tulsa starting that Boomer guy didn't do so hot at Houston, even though they covered. I think you're okay there with betting that. I don't take Tulsa with the points unless you want to tease it up, but I wouldn't even tease it up to 6 or 7 points. Going down here, UCF. They're at Memphis. Usually that's a closer game. The model's not liking UCF in this position to cover. They're only 54% on the power index. But I tend to disagree with. I tend to disagree with this a little bit because I don't think Memphis isn't the same team, and they've been, this year, yeah, they just, crushed UConn, but hey, you can't measure off that. I think Central Florida is one of the better teams in the country. Yes, they don't have very tough matchups, but in conference, but I don't pick Memphis in this situation unless you know something that I don't. Maryland, home versus Rutgers. This is just the model not liking the spread. I would even tease that down 6 or 7 points. I think they win by 3 touchdowns, but or could win by 3 touchdowns. Rutgers is about as horrible as you can get. Maryland can put up points to beat Texas at home. Yeah, first game of the season, but I'd be careful here. But I understand if you want to take that. The model's not liking it. That's a lot of points. Utah, I've seen a lot of movement or action on Arizona in this at Utah. A tough place to play, man. That environment at Utah, and they're coming off a big win at Stanford. I mean, they might have a big win hangover. Arizona looks like they're improving, but I'd be careful with this as well. It's saying pick against. I highlighted this because I'm like, hey, it's at Utah though. The model saying if you're going to pick against Utah and take Arizona with the points. If I was to take Arizona, I'd be feel more comfortable teasing it up to 20 or 21. But Utah, be careful there. We're going down Purdue at Illinois. This could be a huge letdown spot at Illinois. Yes, Purdue is the better team. They should cover, but hey, they're on the road. Illinois has played some pretty, has hung with some teams like Penn State. Not saying, this is a game that Illinois could win outright, in my opinion. Purdue has improved and they're rolling pretty good. It's not. I wouldn't be surprised if they cover that number of 10.5, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Illinois covers as well. So this is one of those coin flip games. I think that number is just too high, really, to throw it on Purdue. But Vegas could be trying to trick you here. And going down Bama once again. Hey, Bama, with that big line, hosting Missouri, I get it, the 4 touchdowns because of how piss poor Missouri's defense is, but Bama's just not covering. They're not covering these big spreads. I know Saban's pissed at that defense because they're giving up some points now, but they're just trying to stay healthy. And I see Tua has an injury or just a sprained knee or something like that. They just lost one of their corners, but hey, with Bama right, it's the next 4 or 5 star guy up. But I think Missouri covers this 4 touchdown. They can put up points, so I just don't think Bama will be on the field long enough to cover that amount of points. And so if you're going to bet that, I would agree with the model here and take Missouri in the points. And Missouri has nothing to lose, right? They're going to go in there slinging it, locking it. They have nothing to lose here. Go down here. These are pretty. I'm not going to touch it. TCU is the worst pick on the board on the model this week. I understand why. Hosting Texas Tech, who can put up points. Robinson, I've watched these TCU games and these losses. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed with that quarterback Robinson. He's banged up. It sounds like he may not even start. Texas Tech, and this getting 7, I like it all day. I would take the 7 points with confidence because Texas Tech can win this outright. I'm not high on that TCU defense that a lot of people are. I just don't see it. So here's my locks that the 4 locks I'm picking this week.